it is fitting that God's revelation of his relationship to humanity is that of a parent and child. Now, the human experience of the relationship between parent and child at its best, at its ideal, is really the metaphor, the reality that our human experience references is really the metaphor for the reality which we only see dimly, but we will see clearly in the Church Triumphant, in the beatific vision. But of all the references we have to think of, to contemplate, I think it is most fitting that it be between parent and child. And you could really dive deep into that, into both. Well, you can dive deep into the details of how our reference points to that deeper reality, but in a very personal way, in a very intimate understanding. If you are a parent, or if you're a child with a parent that has, it may be imperfect, we have our failures, both parent and child have concupiscence, have failings, shortcomings, so it doesn't quite live up to the ideal. But if you have a reference in your own experience, or can even imagine in seeing it in others, or hearing about it, or reading about it, that relationship that at least traces the silhouette of the ideal love between parent and child, then you really have a reference to understand the love of God. Because on both sides, the child who perhaps offends his parent, is rude, disobedient towards the parent, fails, makes mistakes. The parent, out of love, will want to correct that child for the benefit of the child, but the parent will forgive that child. And the parent ultimately will always return to that father of the prodigal son. The love of the parent cannot hold on to resentment and grudge towards the child, at least when it gets closer and closer to the ideal. Certainly not by the grace of God, but by the sin of man, certain parents are far from the ideal. But those parents who do have a trace of that love can understand that it is based on nothing other than the grace of God. This love is just something that overtakes us and compels us to forgive and move forward another mile and offer 7 times 70 acts of forgiveness to that child. And the child, and this is what's beautiful about being a parent, the child is constantly teaching the parent that they have that saving love of God. When the parent falls short, does not give the attention to the child that the child deserves, that is just to give to that child, when that parent is rude to that child out of impatience, that child will forgive that parent and move forward. And it is a sight to see. And the parent receiving that love from that child, at least for me, again and again is reminded of the love of God. How we do not deserve God's love, but mysteriously cannot deny it. It's abundant. It's overwhelming. It will convert our hearts. Fire turns to fire all that it finds. And if we seek and knock, we will find that love. God's love for us is undeniable. That love he has for us at our very worst is that same love that he has for us at our very best. Give thanks for the love of God. Abide the fire.